All right, here we are, Jody. I'd flex, but I can't lift my arms. I am not feeling good today, buddy. But
I'm sorry to hear that, but we are here. It's Monday.
we're here as per usual. It would take a lot more than that to stop us from being here.
True.
Tested myself this morning for COVID, came back negative, but man, I am sick.
You know, my wife got a whole bunch of tests what we keep at home. So in case we do get sick, we're doing that because we're leaving for a vacation Thursday. My daughter's graduating college in North Carolina, so we're going to be leaving Thursday, heading up there, then driving up to DC for a little mini vacay.
Yeah.
Come back for one day, regroup, and leave again to get ready for the Nevada State Championships. So, yeah, we're going to be busy. This household's going to be real busy the next couple of weeks.
Amazing. Sounds like a good time.
Yes. And we have a lot of people in the chat and everybody. Before we start the show, I have to say, always, please like and subscribe.
And as usual, the link for Jody's channel is in the description, so head on over there and do the same thing. Now, we got some people in the chat. We're rolling, but let's talk about, we got all kinds of stuff. We even got Steroids Are the Devil.
In the house.
Fox 8 Ball's in there. Street Level, Machine.
Macho Man,
Dan Woodley, Arm Sport Videos.
Ooh, Scott's in the house? All right.
Yeah. So let's start with the Nationals, man. You want to chat about the Nationals a little bit?
Okay, boys and girls. We just had the Unified Nationals this past Saturday in Kansas City. Now, for those that don't know, for people outside the U.S., the Unified Nationals are the nationals that qualify you for the WAF Worlds. The IFA Nationals will take place next month in Irving, Texas. So this past Saturday, we were in Kansas City, and not a lot of entries as I thought. And so maybe this is where we start to go, okay, well, is this phasing out now? Because 175 entries, right? Total, not just one class, but total. Ryan, did you know that because of the lack of entries that there was not a 242 class?
Holy man. I did not know that. And this is the WAF qualifier. This is the one that, is it Simon still putting that on?
Yes.
So poorly attended. What do you think contributed to that, other than the obvious,
Well, let me ask everybody in the chat, and you, Ryan. Do you think with COVID knocking everybody out in 2020 or 2021 that now that we're up and running again, that it's just an influx of events now going on where now we're trying to do so much to catch up on what we missed?
I would say that that's probably an accurate statement for most of the people. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of opportunity in the arm wrestling world. Maybe a chance to win some money at some events where there's some marquee professional names that you can go and meet and learn from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that all contributes to the fact that maybe the amateur side of the sport is diminishing a little bit.
We have more masters pullers than open pullers.
What does that tell you?
Now, hey, I'm not going to throw shade at the masters because I'm a masters puller myself, so I'm not going to throw shade at that. But, you have to understand, we are now at a point where it's all about the bigger matchups. It's all about the East versus West or the King of the Table or whatever, Paul Italia's got going on or Tim Talmadge or whatever. So you got to realize, we're there now. Super matches and all that kind of stuff. And one has to wonder, what's the IFA going to hold as far as entries come next month, But there was a drug test. Did you know that?
I knew that only because you told me that this morning.
You want to know how that went down?
I am shocked that there was drug testing in the United States at a national level event.
Well, before we go further into that, tell everybody your situation. What year is that when you went, and the top three were you, Pushkar, and Barbosa?
Well, they started drug testing officially at WAF in 2005. I believe it was around 2010, 2012, where the top three were Marcio, myself, and Andre Pushkar. Now, Pushkar had been tested numerous times throughout that season. He had been always passing those tests. So I guess they see it as a waste of time to test him again because he clearly was not doing anything he shouldn't be doing.
Right.
They kind of thought that I wasn't either. So I had been tested in the past as well. But when you got to the top three, you got your medal and you walked off the stage. They sat you at a table. In front of you were three cards. One of them had a C on the back for control. The other two were blank. You picked one and you flipped it over. And if it had the C, they whisked you away to the drug testing. And one of the WAF officials leaned over to me and said, "Don't pick the one in the middle." And made it very clear to me that they were trying to get Marcio. I believe they actually said to me, "We're trying to get Barbosa." And so, of course, I picked the one on the far right. Pushkar goes next, and he picks the one in the middle. So the plan goes out the window. Pushkar goes away, gets tested. Of course, he passes. No tomfoolery there, and we go on our way. But that
And
was
this was 2012?
Somewhere in the 2010 to 2012 range. I can't recall exactly, but I remember Pushkar being whisked away on the back of a golf cart over to the testing facility.
Ooh, a golf cart. Oh, there you go. That's service.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Arm Sports Video says, do pullers not care about qualifying and or attending WAF? I'm gonna go on a limb. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know there's ever since the split and the way WAF has been treating their referees and their athletes, they're kind of like, whatever,
Yeah.
That's my opinion. There are still people in the United States that do still pull under the WAF banner. That's fine, not a big deal. That's just my opinion. Now, he says, isn't Simon involved in the drug testing company? That I don't know. But I will tell you how they did the drug testing this past weekend. Once you've placed top three, right? Those top three had to pull a poker chip. And I believe if the poker chip was red, then you have to go test.
Okay.
You can't get no more random than that. I mean, there's a bag you draw in there and you pull out it's a red poker chip or whatever. And that chip meant you had to go back and take your test.
Unless, of course, it's a bag full of red chips for certain people.
Maybe, but that's pretty much how it went down. So I'm thinking, all right, haven't heard any word as far as, if everyone passed, failed, whatever, that kind of thing. So,
well, if that is the case and it was random and they did it well, do you think maybe that's one of the reasons? Like, was this known ahead of time that they were drug testing?
I didn't know about that until the day of. I was watching High Dollar Entertainment. They were actually live streaming, and they mentioned that on the air because I was getting ready for my team to practice. We practice every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So I was, getting ready and listening. Am I going? Oh, they're drug testing, and I went to Nationals, Unified Nationals in 2017, and they were drug testing. I placed top three, but I didn't get tested or anything. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah.
However, do you think it impacted attendance? Do you think the fact that they were drug testing impacted attendance?
Not necessarily. Because now we're at a point where it's all about money, right? Money drives everything. And, it's like, I don't want to go there because so-and-so's not going to be there. The big names that normally go to these WAF qualifiers kind of been there and done it. If you're looking for like a Brezink, a Chafee, Michael, those guys have been there and done that. They don't need to do that anymore. So when that question always comes up, how come the U.S. never sends their heavy hitters over to WAF? We've been there and done that. Ron Bath, I think, Ron Bath, 1 year, 2006, 2005, something like that, went to England and he pulled 4 away classes. He took 3 golds and a silver, I think, that year.
Yeah.
But that's back when, arm wrestling was different then, right? Now it's a little like, it's just the whole thing is just different. But this will segue into our next topic. But I think you had a question, Ryan. You want to take that one?
Sure. Jax, you're talking about Jax?
Yes.
Says, did the size of Wayne Withers' hand ever trouble you to grip up with? Since these guys are large. Corey's hand is also very thick too. Will it be an issue to you at all? Well, the easy answer is that Wayne and I have never arm wrestled before. But I am certain that I've pulled guys with hands as large as Wayne Withers. Jeff Dabe being one of them. Do they give me trouble? No, they tend not to as much, simply because I also have a fairly big hand, and having something to grab onto, as long as it's not like enormous, is a little bit easier for me than somebody with a skinny little tiny hand that can move around inside your hand without too much trouble.
Right.
But I mean, I'm pulling 25 years. It's nothing I haven't seen before. Michael Todd's got a thick hand.
Yeah.
Rick Barbet is an old-time Canadian guy that, he's got a super thick hand. And then you got the Earl Wilsons of the world. I mean, those guys are always. And then Dabe, who's the next level, like his hand is bigger than anybody's, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it really doesn't come as that big of an issue. It's kind of the power in that hand that's going to make the difference. And then Fox 8 Ball says, Ryan, if you come to Arm Wars this year, will you stay an extra day or two to see me whoop Uncle John at Whitby? Of course I will, Fox. This time I'll come early so I don't have to travel and then pull within a few hours.
Is the next one in September at the Arnold Classic over there?
I'm not sure, but I think that we're definitely rebooked for the Arnolds.
Ooh, steroids are the devil. Says this sport will never be big enough for drug testing to be justified. Planet Earth should have to be 10 plus times bigger for arm wrestling to be big. And steroids, thanks for saying that. Here's my thing. For Pete's sake, if you can have curling in the Winter Olympics, if you can have that slap game, whatever, on the big stage at the Arnold, give me a fucking break. Why are we not our sport? Why are we not out there like we should? Blows my mind.
Marketing, man. They've taken the very basic elements of combat sports and given you to them in a very short, condensed period of time. As far as that slap fighting thing goes, curling is just a sport of kings, Jody. So I don't know what you're talking about there. It's a very Canadian.
To sit there, I'm sure you got to sign some waiver. I'm not going to have some grown man just open hand slap me in the face for what? That's the stupidest thing ever. Because I'm sorry, I can't wrap my brain around that. So anyway, let that drug testing from nationals segue into the big topic for today. And I'm sure everybody's going to have something to say about it. And I thought very hard over the weekend on how I'm going to bring this up, Let's talk about the PEDs. And first and foremost, you got to understand this. When someone asks me, what's my thoughts on it, I have to really think about it because, depending on what the question is, would you ever take them? Do you think it helps a person? Here's my question to that. And I'll use baseball for an example. 1998, when baseball blew back up, McGuire, Sosa, the home run chase. It was exciting, right? Everyone watched it, kind of put, baseball back on the axle. Now, did it help them get all those home runs by them using all the PEDs and HGHs and the ESPNs and all that kind of stuff? Sure, I'm sure it did. But you got to realize, though, you still need to have that hand-eye coordination to hit the ball. So anytime, Dick, and Harry, if you're batting 125 lifetime and you go on this amount of HGH, It's not going to make you hit better. You still got to have the hand-eye coordination to hit the ball coming at you 95 miles an hour, coming at you, 54 miles. With someone throws a knuckleball, you still got to have that hand-eye coordination. So I guess my point being is that if someone were to take any kind of PEDs, then you still got to know how to arm wrestle. Because if you don't, then all that means nothing. That's my opinion. I personally do not want to put myself through that. For me, it's because, and I've said this time and time again to a lot of people who know me, this sport is nothing but a hobby to me. I don't, like some people out there, I don't use this sport as like a means to pay my bills. I have a regular job. This is just something I have to do on the side because I like to compete. And I'm pretty good at it, Am I going to ever be elite status? No, because I'm a realist, because I'm never going to do that. For me to be on that upper echelon, on the elite status up there with all the big names, I would have to sacrifice a whole lot, and I'm not willing to do that. Meaning that I would have to, the old cliche, eat, sleep, train, think arm muscle, whatever. I do that sometimes, but at the same time, it's like I still got a family. I still got kids. I got my oldest walking across the stage in her college graduation. That's important to me, right? I got my oldest son in his second year of college. That's important to me, right? My wife and our foundation we're running for our late son, that kind of stuff's important to me. Like, I would never put arm wrestling in front of all that other stuff. It's just, for me, it's just a hobby. So no, I don't see myself being on the upper echelon. Plus, in this sport, I got different avenues. When my pulling days are done, I got some things I can still do this podcast with you, Ryan. I can still do my own podcast. I'm a certified referee. I'm doing play-by-play with Arm Sports Entertainment. So I got, other avenues once I'm done with this sport. But to me, my path is a little bit different than a lot of other people. So as far as that question goes, what do I think as far as steroids go? I don't think whoever takes them out there, I don't think anything less of them, I put you this way. What's today? May 9th, right? Okay. May 9th, 2022. There's more people now that are more open about it than there were May 9th, 2012, right?
Oh, yeah.
So and that's just the facts of it. That's the facts of the matter. There are more people open about it. Now, I do think that since we should just have two separate organizations. The people who are tested, the ones who are actually on that stuff, have their own division. Knock yourselves out. Who's the best of the best? And then the ones who are not natural, because then, at least at some point there's some kind of even playing field. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
Don't we kind of have that?
Fire away.
Don't we kind of have that already?
Sort of.
I mean, WAF and IFA are kind of the exception, right? Some guys still go there, gas right up, and get caught or whatever. But there was a clip show, More Plates, More Dates, was on with might have been Joe Rogan. He talked about how arm wrestlers just take whatever they want and they just kind of roll the dice,
right?
If they get lucky or not. But I mean, the theory behind the whole thing, or the whole rationale, is that WAF and IFA are kind of your options for your non-enhanced athlete versus every other league. There's no drug testing in PAL. There's no drug testing in the WAL. There's no drug testing in King of the Table.
Right.
There's not. And those guys would fail. They would all fail. And Larry openly talks about his PED use. It's a way more open and accepted subject than it was, even 2 years ago. Like, it's the fact of the matter is, you can't sit there with your head in the sand and say that the Levon that pulled that WAF in 2019 or 2018, rather, when I was there last, is the same guy he is today. He's not. He's not even close. But then there's the same argument that happens between trans women becoming, or someone transitioning from a male to a woman and competing in a woman's division. The argument is that woman went through puberty with all the enhanced benefits of having testosterone running through their system,
Bone
It's
structure.
the exact same argument that you can make for having a non-lifetime natural. So if somebody took performance enhancing drugs for 10 years of their career and then they stopped, there is a permanent benefit to using performance enhancing drugs for that period of time that will carry them on and give them an advantage, even though they can now pass a drug test.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the right answer? I don't think there is one.
Right. Did you know last year was the first time I ever knew what the hell natty meant?
Well, natty has different meanings.
I didn't even know what it was. I was talking to somebody, and this person, you know, and like I said, when we're talking about this subject, I will not be releasing names, by the way. Let's just get that out there because it's not my story to tell. But this person asked me, and they were like, hey, how does it feel, you know, to be a natty? I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, what are you talking about? Natural. I was like, I didn't know I was in question of not being natural. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So this person said, well, you beat so and so, and that person's on something. I'm thinking, well, I didn't realize that. So I've beaten people who were, you know, on the juice, sauce, pancakes, waffles, whatever, call it what you want. I've actually beaten somebody on that, but I didn't know about that until after it was all said and done. Now, if I knew that going into the match, well, you know, would that, you know, make a difference mentally? Maybe, maybe not. And this was like a tournament, you know, and it was like, okay, I beat the guys, no big deal. You know, here's my thing, because someone said, you know, they would love to see a top natural pull a top, you know, juiced up guy. That would be an interesting match. Here's my thought, and this goes back to, you know, power versus technique. Okay, I am not a power puller by any stretch of the imagination. Anybody who knows me, we slow pull. I'm okay. Not the best slow puller. That is not my mantra. That is not my style. I'm more of a technician who just needs to gain a little power here and there. But, you know, I'm a fast twitch. You know, that's just, everybody's blessed with something. Big hand, big forearm, shoulder structure, whatever. I was blessed, you know, with two things: quick twitch muscles and, you know, a large derriere. So when it came to football and rugby, my lower half was a lot bigger than my upper half from time to time. But my point being is that you got to understand my style is made for just ready, go, ready, go, ready, go. That's my style. I'm never a power puller. So if another question is asked to be the upper elite, you got to realize this. All those guys in the upper echelon of our sport, they already know how to arm wrestle. At that point, it's who's the strongest for the most part and who can get their spot before the other. That's my opinion.
Well, the water is so muddy. It's too muddy. You can't determine, you know, what does natty mean? How do you make somebody be that way? So we have all these cute little words now. We call it pancakes. I mean, which is, you know, when you make a video and you're flipping pancakes in a pan, you might as well just tell the world, "Hey, I'm juiced right up." Like, just say it. But it's like code. Like people don't actually know what
Did
that
you know
means.
when Devin first announced pancakes, how many motherfuckers went out there and started buying Bisquick?
Yeah,
You know,
the Kodiak cakes from Costco.
hey, I got some Kodiak cakes. Those are pretty good. The cinnamon ones, oh yeah,
Yeah.
those are good. Steroids. The devil says fast twitch muscles fibers are the fibers involved in absolute strength too. Yeah, now he says that, yeah, because I just thought quick twitch. It's just quick twitch, you know. You have it or you don't, right? There's some people out there who probably pulled with me. They're in the channel on the table, and it's just, you know, it's more of, you know, I'm trying to get there fast. Now, what is my secret to that? Giving out secrets. My secret to quick hits is because I'm scared to lose. There you go. There's my secret. I'm scared to lose. But, you know, I will always lean on the side of technique if I'm going to go into a match and I know someone is physically enhanced.
Well, and what does that mean? Because I can tell you stories about back in the in the 90s and into the early 2000s. Remember when Mark McGuire said he was on androstenedione? That
Mm-hmm.
was the big supplement he was on. Well, I got news for you. That androstenedione was better than most of the juice you can buy nowadays on the black market. We would go to the Arnold Classic as an arm wrestler, and I would buy so much of that shit. I'd buy Andro poppers for $5 a bottle, and they would sell for $100 a bottle back here because they were better than juice. They had such an impact on your hormone levels.
Right.
And this is gonna sound weird, but it would make like people's nipples so sensitive that if somebody brushed past them, it was like they're being shot in the chest with a shotgun. It hurt so bad. Like
Wow.
that's like a massive hormonal manipulation, and that's why they became illegal in the United States. It's just like ephedrine. You used to be able to get
Right.
the 25 milligram version that everyone dropped all kinds of weight on. They made it illegal. So at what point do you say what's natty and what's not? Because there's a case to be made that in developing countries, the supplements that we have access to in North America would give us that much of an edge over other people based on geographical location and might not be the playing field is not level. So how do you level it? Well, you take the controls off and you let people roll the dice. That's the only real way to level it. You can't go the other way. You're not going to tell somebody that's fighting for the world number one spot all of a sudden it's drug tested.
Right.
And it's not going to make a difference anyway because the whole thing becomes more about manipulation. Anderson Silva got caught but tested positive for a substance called Masteron.
Right.
Well, there's two different types of Masteron, and they have different half-lives, meaning there's a certain period of time where you take it to where it becomes undetectable in your system. One of them has a longer half-life than the other. He purchased the wrong one by mistake and got busted in a UFC drug test.
Ouch.
There is testosterone suspension that you can take, and within 5 days, you can pass a drug test.
Right.
It's almost like the Europeans didn't figure that out because I will tell you that could show you a picture of Levon in 2018 compared to Levon now,
Oh yeah.
and he is either the most genetically gifted human of all times, or he is heavily, heavily enhanced.
Mm-hmm.
And you're correct when you said earlier that you can't just take any Joe Blow off the street, give him juice, and all of a sudden he's a great arm wrestler. That's not true. Well, I mean, of course that's not true. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have a genetic disposition for it. You have to have all these things, and you actually have to do some work too. But the one example that I can think of that might be the case is the extreme example of Denis Saplenkov, because I don't think Denis Saplenkov could beat anybody when he's not juiced up.
Yeah. I mean, that's just
Put him in a WAF tournament after he comes off the juice, whether he's got that lifetime benefit or not. I would be pretty comfortable saying I can beat Dennis left-handed if he's not on stuff.
right. Hair falling out, teeth falling out, that kind of stuff. It's just, you know what, Ryan? There's a question over here. If Fox 8 Ball says because it's legal, don't mean it's not PEDs, or am I just talking on my ass mate?
No,
And
Fox is
Steroid Devil
absolutely correct.
and Steroid said, yeah, North Korean Olympians don't get drug tested year round, just in competition day. Other countries are suspect too. Now, Ryan, carry the show for 30 seconds. I'm going to run downstairs to my pantry and I'm going to get out the stuff that I have and show everybody what I'm doing. So I guess maybe it is. I'm not natural, but carry the show for about 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
You got it, buddy. I'm going to tell the story about where the hell the laws in Canada compared to the laws in the United States. So in Canada, you can actually legally possess and use anabolic steroids. You can do that. Yeah, that's not an issue at all. Purchasing it is illegal, but as long as you don't get caught in the act of purchasing or selling it, you can have it on your person for personal use. In the United States, it carries the same charge as having heroin with you. So anabolic steroids in the United States will get you locked up. In Canada, not at all. That doesn't mean it's easy to find or any of that stuff, but those are the laws, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately. What other questions you guys have in the chat? Because this is a subject, and before we get too far in and somebody says, hey, do you do it and all that stuff, I'm never going to tell you guys anything that's going to jeopardize my arm wrestling career or my status in the sports. So keep that in mind when you're asking me questions about, history and stuff that you've done or tried and stuff. But I've been taking supplements since supplements were a thing. Like Ultimate Orange back in the day in the mid 90s, something that, it probably should have been illegal, but by today's standards, it's pretty tame. What do you got there, Jody?
All right. Well, Preacher Arm Wrestling says, hit the like button, Metal Fluffers. All right. In the words of Mr. Neil Pickup. So, I do not take anything, but then again, maybe I do, right? So, one thing I have from NatFit, y'all see this?
Perfectly legal.
Yes.
In anywhere in North America, that is just fine.
Pink lemonade flavor, NatFit, Jamie Sheldon. Get a hold of him if you need him. He'll be on my show at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time today. But yeah, so that's what I take. So if I'm taking this, then yes, I'm guilty as charged, right? Also, another thing, same thing, different company. You see this?
What is that?
Same thing. BACC Black Anvil, right?
Yeah.
This is watermelon flavor. So apparently I'm all about the watermelon and pink lemonade. But that's what I take, guys. So I'm real conscious about what I put in my body. Even back in the 90s when I was working warehouse jobs, graveyard, got to stay up. Remember those yellow jackets they used to sell in those stores, in 7-Eleven and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take those to kind of make sure I'm up. And I didn't like the way I felt. Stop taking it. I'm just so, weirded out by what I put in my body. Not that I'm the most healthiest person there. Yeah, I can probably lose about 10, 15 pounds, honestly, but I still, don't want to put certain things in my body. That's just because I fear for my own, health as far as in risk and that kind of stuff. I'm just worried about the side effects, what it comes down to.
Hey, we got David in here. I want to address this. He says, at least Devin actually ate pancakes. When he talked about pancakes and syrup, he was actually eating that and didn't allude to anything else. You didn't catch the nuances, David?
Yeah, I mean, he might have done that, which is good, but it was kind of a double thing because later on, they all talked about what pancakes actually meant.
Well, and when you say that somebody was more professional in their preparation, what do you think that means?
Right.
It's everywhere. So,
Preacher says, I assume creatine wouldn't count, correct?
That's true. Creatine doesn't count as far as the ban list goes. So right. This is a subject I've studied at great length. So creatine you can take. Caffeine you can take to a certain level. Ephedrine is banned. I took 2 8-milligram ephedrine tabs this morning to clear my head cold so I could be on this show. But that's what it does. It's a bronchodilator, and if you have a stuffed up sinus, take an ephedrine. Poof, it'll open right up for you. Now, it's such a weird subject and such a weird topic because you can't get away from it. And if you think that your hero is not taking something, I mean, they probably are. In this day and age, they're more likely to be on something than not. That's just kind of how it goes.
But here's the thing. Even if they are, honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't change my friendship with them. Not at all.
I personally don't care. Like,
right. Doesn't bother me one way or the other.
There's so much out there. And you have a choice to make at the end of the day. You know what you're getting yourself into in certain situations. I think Devin once said, he would almost be disappointed if his opponent didn't show up having done everything that he could to prepare for the match.
I can't believe we've been on this show for 35 minutes and not one goddamn super chat with this topic. Boy, oh boy.
Well, it's a very polarizing topic.
Yeah. All right. Macho Man says, do you guys think pancakes? Wait, do you guys think it takes pancakes to make it to the top? No, it doesn't.
What is the top? What is the top? Because do I believe that the WAF champion can go from the WAF championship and take on Levon? No, not a chance. I think that it takes something else to move that guy from being the WAF champ to the champion of the professional leagues. Do I? Absolutely, I do.
Well, there's your answer, Macho Man. So, but again, and yes, Fox 8 Ball, these are very tasty, by the way. Pink lemonade, watermelon, yes, very tasty. And yes, if you take creatine a large amount, it does affect your kidneys. Another reason why I'm like, do you know how long I've had this Black Anvil? I had it for months. You know how long I had this NatFit BCAAs? For months. I don't take it every day. I don't.
You know what's really bad for you that'll hurt you a lot quicker than creatine?
Drugs.
Biscuits and gravy every day for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, to say that this stuff will hurt me, like it's kind of like the guys that are juiced to the gills saying they don't want to take a COVID vaccine because they don't want to worry about what they're putting in their body, and they bought some juice that someone made in a bathtub somewhere.
Right.
Ooh, Machine says, I can't believe you said Ultimate Orange, the first supplement he ever took. That stuff. It was crazy. It was crazy. And you know what? The thing with that stuff is I managed to find some a couple of years ago, and I took it and I was like, oh, this sucks. Like, it's like watching that movie from the 80s that you loved and then watching it again now. It's just not the same.
It's not. Fox 8 Ball says any super chats, he'll do 100-pound side pressure reps.
8 reps.
There you go. So would you guys say that NetFit and BCAAs is better for you health-wise than say as Monster? I don't know, because I think what Jamie's done, and he'll be on my show later on. Tune in, by the way, YouTube channel, 11 o'clock. Because he'll be my guest. What Jamie's done is, outstanding. Like, he's putting a lot of thought into his supplements, flavor-wise, making sure everything is taken care of. He has NatFit in Canada now, NatFit over in Europe, along with the States. So he's gone big time over there.
I'll tell you, one thing about that, Jody, is it is hard to get supplements licensed in Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So ask him about that.
I didn't know that. I'm about to ask him that today, But yeah, I've done the NatFit protein. I've done the NatFit, BCAAs. That's all I've done. I don't do any other stuff, besides I might drink a Coors Light from time to time here and there. I've been known to do that, but that's the ABCs of me. I mean, there are people out there I know that who are on HGH. Doesn't change my friendship with them. Not at all. It's no different than like you get two guys that are good friends, right? But they're on opposite ends of the political spectrum. I believe one thing, they believe another, but guess what? We're still friends. That's how I treat this steroid thing. I'm not a steroid person. They may be on it, that kind of stuff. Doesn't change my friendship with them at all. And I want everybody to know that, because I don't want nobody taking my shit out of context, by the way. Sorry for the language. I don't want to get kicked off the show.
Steroids are the devil. Everybody is. Some look the part like a yellow. It takes them, but diets like a motherfucker and build body builds. But then they have guys like that take them, only arm wrestle and train their hands so it doesn't show. I would say that is fairly accurate. And Mike has been very, very open about his use. So
yeah,
I'm not letting the cat out of the bag. And I have a great deal of knowledge on, people's stuff, but I will never out anyone for anything. That's all their story to tell.
Just be honest about it. Don't fucking tell half the world. Sorry, there's an F-bomb again. Oh my God.
I said it too, but you know what? The thing is, I don't think any of these guys are saying I'm natural and then taking stuff. I think they're just, avoiding the question and taking stuff. And that's an answer too. And honestly, most of my heroes took stuff. And I don't care. I don't care that they took
Right.
stuff. Lance Armstrong, got caught taking juice and had all of his titles stripped. But all the other guys were doing the same shit. Like
Right.
that playing field was level. It
Yes.
was level.
Oh, Cody Merritt's in the house. Big Cody in the house. His birthday was yesterday, y'all. So make
Happy
sure you wish him
belated
happy
birthday, Cody. I said hi on your Facebook wall already, and I see that you acknowledged that. But hope you had a great birthday, big fella.
Fox 8 Bull says, Jody, show us your hand. My hand looks like this. I don't know if that's big or not, but it's that's what my hand looks like. So I don't know what's big now. What's average? I don't understand. I never really measured it. I did one time, but I'm not sure. It doesn't. When you measure your hand, it doesn't really measure the thickness either. So just from my middle fingertip all the way down to the wrist or whatever. So I don't. It doesn't.
The measurement I never understood is when they do the King of the Table matches and they tell you what the circumference of their head is. What does that have to do with anything?
Absolutely nothing.
Well, I mean, in the case of someone that uses a lot of growth hormone, I mean, maybe that can change over the years.
And Macho Man says he's on the pancakes, just putting it out there. So there you go. He's on the French toast.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I'd rather know. And then, like I said, another reason why I don't dab into that, I want to know that I did that, not that I had extra help. Now I know, we're talking about even playing field. It can get a little tricky because there's the genetic version, I guess, even playing field, where Jeff Dave, he can't help that. He has enormous large hands. He can't help that. That's just something, a birth defect. I'm not sure. Whatever the case may be. Is it even playing field when you pull him? Probably not. But guess what? It's not like he's an elite puller. I've seen him lose many times, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to somebody who wants to enhance themselves. And again, let's just say, for example, whatever in some kind of stratosphere, Ryan SB and myself are like this as far as power, right? Now, if Ryan wants to take, we'll call it Flintstone vitamins and goes up like that, now all of a sudden, okay, did you really beat me, or did your Flintstone vitamins with the Barney Rubble grape flavored actually help you push you over the finish line? You know what I mean? That's my thing. And by the way, I always thought that we should have, like I said earlier in the show before, we should have separate divisions. Let all the guys who are over there who are enhanced, do your thing, man. I'll still watch you guys compete, But then you got the people who just want to do it for fun or do it just, just for the sake of competition. And they're fighting that big monster over there. And then you got some guy walking in here, King Kong, hey, I smacked everybody. I'm like, yeah, but did you really smack everybody? Or did you have help from your little buddy on your shoulder? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me, though.
Well, the fact of the matter is this. You'll never find out who's on unless they tell you what they're taking or they get caught in a drug test. So those are the only two methods of finding out. They admit it openly or they get busted in a drug test.
Well, didn't Arson get busted and he kind of went away for a while?
Well, I'll tell you, have you heard the who was the kid, the big Russian kid that was supposed to be the next John Brzenk? Oh, man.
It's not Arson?
Not Arson. Scott, help me out here, man. 2005, he failed the drug test at the Worlds. But I'll wait for him to put it in the chat, but I'll tell the story. That kid started winning the youth class and the open class when he was about 16. And he was there when we started getting drug tested in Japan. We sat next to each other on the table, separating our samples. We pissed in the bottle next to each other, in the collection cup next to each other. and he failed big time.
Wow. Did it like burn a hole through the fucking cup or what?
Several things that were on his test, and then he kind of faded away. Well, there was some it's on the tip of my tongue too. Like there was some attempts at him to come back and compete in another league that was starting up, a pro league, and they kept resetting his suspension every time he did that. And eventually I saw him at the Arnold's like 3 or 4 years later, and he had lost all of his muscle, and he was a little skinny guy, and he was a reporter for some Russian television channel.
Wow. Falling on hard times.
Well, I mean, I think he was doing okay for himself, but he completely fell off arm wrestling. It was done, but he just wouldn't wouldn't take his year suspension, but still wanted to compete at the Worlds.
And by the way, and like you just said, I'm glad you brought that point up where it says the only way you're going to know if someone fails or if someone admits to it. Now, with that being said, remember a couple shows ago, and I brought up the fact that a 209-pound Dmitry Trubin beat John Brzenk 6 straight, right?
Yeah.
And that put him on the map. Then his next Flavor of the Month match, he beat Michael Todd 4-2, I think, in one of the PAL arm fighter deals. And that really put him up in the upper echelon. And did you notice how he got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and his arm wrestling started derailing, started snowballing down? And now you don't hear a lot from him. And his last few matches haven't been the greatest. So there could be a detriment to that too. So yes, guys, if you're gonna dab in that, just know your research and just be careful. That's all I would say, because there are gonna be some people out there who overdo it and think I gotta get real big, real strong, real quick, real fast, and then it may go sideways. I don't know. Just be careful if you plan on doing that. You know what I mean?
It's bothering me so much, Jody, that I'm actually trying to find the results.
Talking about the guy you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's now a news reporter or whatever. So, but yeah, guys, while Ryan's looking that up, I mean, yeah, there are some people who will want to dabble in that, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me one bit. Hey, we'll still go have a beer and chit chat and talk and stuff, But I personally just don't want to go that route. It's just a hobby for me. My path's a little different. It's not about, hey, Jody, I want you to be the upper echelon. No, I'm not going to do that. My goals are, as you stated before, yes, I want to be a Masters national champion. I want to be a World Masters champion, right? Or no, Masters world champion, right? That's what I want. That is my goal. That is my path. It's not that I'm scared to pull open. I'll pull open. But I know on a bigger scene, a bigger stage, if I want that gold, first place, top 3, whatever, I know for a fact, because I'm a realist, I know that. I know for a fact that my best chance of doing that and securing that is in the Masters division. I'm flipping 46 years old. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, I will still go to other events and still pull open and Masters. That's just the way it is. That's just what I do. And the reason why I pull a lot more Masters events that offer that is because that gets me mentally ready and physically ready about what kind of competition I will meet when I get to that bigger stage. So I put a lot of master events last year, and that got me ready for the IFA Worlds at the Masters class, right? Okay.
Yeah.
231, 105 kilo class, right? Took second left-handed to a guy from Brazil. Very strong hand, strong everything, right? Nothing I could do, but I did my best. But, it kind of taught me that, okay, I'm knocking on the door. So I need to go ahead and go back to the drawing board. Okay, maybe I need to have a stronger hand and wrist, cupping action, whatever, that kind of stuff. Doesn't mean, I better go ahead and start popping in the Flintstone vitamins and all that kind of stuff. No, I'm not going to do that, because I want, and for me, more oftentimes than not, it's the journey of it all that makes it worthwhile. That's just me. You know, I could be weird for saying that. I could be out of line for saying that. There ain't too many people, and I said this before, there ain't too many people out there that is thrilled to be a Masters competitor. I am. I'm okay with that. I'm probably in a small class because a lot of upper echelon people say, oh, I will never pull Masters. That just means you're washed up. That's fine for them. But for me, it means a lot to me. That's how I roll. That's what it is. I can sit there and look at those medals and go, hey, you know, I remember that. Went down to Orlando, Florida, took second in the Worlds. I remember, you know, what it takes to get that. Hey, 2017 Nationals, took third place. I remember, you know, what it took to get to that point. So that's what I look at. Not the, you know, what supplements did you take? When you take any supplements, I killed myself training hard, dieting, all that bullshit. Excuse me, all that nonsense. So, all right, Timmy Turner, Jody was throwing some shade at Trubin earlier. I would like to remind everyone that Trubin has wins over Michael Todd, Brzezinski, Breslin, and Kordeka, to name a few. I'm not discounting his wins. I never said anything about that. I just said you go from 209 to 270. Timmy Turner, Timmy Turner, like, dude, I'm not getting on you. I never once, and I just said, you know, when he beat Brzezinski, he was 209. And yes, I said he mentioned he beat Michael Todd again, but he's 270 some odd pounds. Yes, he's beating those guys, but have you noticed his last few super matches? They haven't been the best. They haven't been the best. Is it because now he's bigger now where, you know, you don't have that, you know, you're not really in shape? I don't know. But I know he ain't 209 no more. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Very much true.
What else we got? Macho Man. It's the journey for me also, but I also want to get to that destination. Yes, whatever that destination is, God bless you all. You know, hope you get there. Warren says, I'm 56, got back in arm wrestling in 2018. You're as young as you think and feel, and I feel pretty darn good. Probably the strongest I've ever been. Yeah. You know, and the thing is, I don't know why people sleep on the Masters. Why is that, Ryan? Why do people sleep on the Masters? I hate when people throw shade at the Masters division. That bugs me a lot.
I couldn't tell you, man. Like in Canada, the Masters sometimes is the much harder class to win.
There you go.
Artem Klemenko.
Ah, that's him.
That's him.
There you go. There you go. You know,
he tested positive for 19 norandrosterone, 19 something else, 3-OH stanozolol, FMethandiol, and has been suspended until December 31st, 2006.
Damn.
Yeah. He must return his 2 gold medals, yada, yada, yada. And this was a post that I actually made on an old message board that still exists, apparently, back in March 13th of 2006.
Wow. And Timmy Turner said Trubin also beat Pushkar in the 2018 right arm final at the Moldova Cup. Yes. I mean, that's that. Again, I'm not discrediting any wins he had. I mean, you know, yeah, defend him all you want, which is good. I'm not saying you're wrong. You know, I'm just saying that, you know, you go from 209 to freaking 275. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say here, right? I'm not saying that he's not a good arm wrestler. I never once said that. Never did. So, you know, pump the brakes on the, you know, the defense mechanism. I've never said anything about discrediting wins. I never said that. Yes, those wins are out there. You can look him up on YouTube. I sat there and told you he beat Brzezinski. He beat Michael Todd. I sat there and told you that. So, you know, yes, Timmy Turner, you're absolutely right. But again, I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's never once did I discredit his wins. I just said you go from 209 when he beat Brzezinski and he was in the best shape of his life to ballooning all up. Was it beneficial for him? Yeah, Moldova Cup, not one-on-one super matches. Different.
Where's he been?
Exactly. Where has he been? Timmy Turner should probably know because apparently he knows everything about him right now. So Timmy Turner, text him, call him, tell us all where is Trubin these days? You know.
Well, buddy, we got Manitoba Provincial Championships coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday, right?
This Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to be there as a spectator. My daughter will be competing.
Oh, tell us that good luck.
Yeah, I shall. And it'll be a good event. We got a lot of guys that I train with competing. Timmy asked if I got any super matches scheduled. Well, 2 weeks. Corey West.
Yes. How was your training prep for that?
Other than being extremely sick, a little dizzy today, it's been going really well.
Good, good, good. I want both you guys to walk into that event at your best shape, best form, and healthy, and let it all hang out, my man.
So when we're done this show, I'm going to go make myself a big protein shake, and I'm going to sit on the couch and watch TV until I feel better.
Isn't Canadian Nationals in July?
July.
Okay, and that's for and here's the thing. I never asked you guys that because with the US, yes, we have nationals for IFA Worlds and WAF Worlds. So where do y'all stand with that?
We still have one nationals, and we can choose to which worlds we support.
So let's just say you go to nationals and you take first place, right?
Yeah.
Then you can go, okay, I want to go to IFA. Now, the second place guy says, hey, can I go to WAF? I mean, how does that work out with you guys?
Well, generally we don't have a full team, but I would say that first and second gets precedent. Like they choose where they want to go, and some of them might choose to try to go to both. I don't ever see that happening, but they could in theory.
Because we can't hear. Do you know the rule what that is here by chance?
Well, I mean, you have two separate nationals to qualify for each event, right?
Oh, you probably don't know. So here's the deal. If you pull IFA, right, you can compete for, a national title at the USAF that goes to WAF, but you cannot compete at WAF because you've competed at IFA. That is the deal.
Well, I mean, that might be the deal here, but it's a matter of people getting either suspended or not from WAF. Technically, I could be on that list.
Right.
Seeing how I competed for the PAL a few weeks ago.
Yeah, because I know Josh Grant and Luke Polster were on the Uncle John show a month ago, maybe now, and they were discussing that, hey, all those, let's just say for me, right, IFA guy, whatever, I go compete at IFA Worlds. I'm eligible to compete at the Unified Nationals, even though I will go to the IFA Nationals. But if I take first place, I am not allowed to qualify for the WAF Worlds. So there's your
I guess that's the answer.
Yeah. So I was just wondering because I know I think Canada is underneath the IFA banner, and I think Bulgaria is going to be underneath the IFA banner soon. So
yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will.
All right, my man. We should put a bow on this one because I'm fading fast.
Okay, yeah, go take some vitamins, man, and rest up, man, because trust me, when you go down, your training goes down too when you're sick and you just don't feel strong at all.
Well, I slept in this morning and didn't go out in the garage and train, so I'm going to make sure I'm healthy before I hit my last few workouts here.
Good. I'm going to go hit a few cupping sets before I go ahead and hey, guys, Jamie Sheldon will be on my show on my YouTube channel. Check me out, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time if you need us.
What time is that Central?
1 o'clock.
All right. So in just under an hour, you'll be on.
Yes.
Yeah, make sure you guys check that out.
Yes.
All right, y'all. I'm sure there'll be lots of fallout from the show.
Yeah. Once we post this on social media, we'll probably get a lot of comments and stuff,
Yeah.
And again, my whole purpose wasn't to point the finger at darn you. Never that, And again, I don't take anybody's comments personal. I am not the one that sit there and try to argue with anybody because I just tell the facts,
Yeah.
So with that being said, everybody, thanks for joining us on the show. As always, we love you guys' chats and comments and questions. We love it all. Keep them coming. Hit the like, subscribe once again.
Right on. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yes, and I will see the rest of you guys at the top of the hour. Take care, Ryan. Rest
buddy.
up.